You'll remember I'm Kate. I'm the Dean of University College and Honors College, and I'm trying to keep things going. When I found out that I was going to be the MC, and then I found out that I was trying to introduce the keynote speaker, and I thought, well, that's awesome, because it's Sonia. And there isn't a single person on this campus with whom I work more closely and for whom I hold in greater esteem than Sonia. And I thought, it would be so easy to talk about her, but it's not, because I just think so highly of her. Sonia has won national awards and recognition for her outstanding work with freshmen. She has a pedigree that includes a computer science degree, a law degree. She's done pretty much everything. You can see it all up here. But what you can't see on that slide is the passion that Sonia brings to work every single day. I will tell you, her office is right next door to me in a building with thin walls. And I know when she's there, you can hear it. She's not going to use a mic either. She is, you may have heard Sonia speak at NSO. I suspect many of you did, and you probably even remember it. And now you will get to hear Sonia again. She is just a spectacular advocate for students coming to UNM, regardless of major, regardless of aspiration, regardless of where you came from. It is her belief, and I see it in action every day, that you can be more than you ever thought you could. You're here to question, you're here to learn stuff, and she's here to help you. So I don't want to take up her time all day when we get started talking. Anyway, Sonia, the floor is yours. Thank you.
All right, am I comfortable to hear? You guys good? Yes. Do you need a backup mic? Because I've gone to a lot of concerts lately, so my hearing has diminished unnecessarily. Backup message, get those headphones out of your ears. Everybody good? All right, let's hear it. And I thank Dean Krause for kind of giving you some of my background. I wanted to give you this because you're likely thinking, how in the world does a senior lecturer in Africana Studies talk about designing your STEM future? And so I want to give you some points to think about. Paper and pencil. Ladies and gentlemen, paper and pencil. You heard Professor, I know I told y'all this over the summer. Some of you are already prepared. You're like, oh, that yes, Professor Rankin, she's going to always have paper and pencil at the ready. Parents usually, because they're going to ask you for this. I like that. No one song is going on. Just thanks for having fun. Welcome, welcome. All right, so just so we get a little sense of my background, the fastest way to say it is, I'm a Jersey girl who learned computer science in an inner city, who studied law in the cornfields, and I'm raising my kids in high desert. I am every woman. I understand that. I appreciate it. That's the goal, right? You know, I love this country. I love this state. I love this university. I've seen a lot of things in a lot of places, and my STEM journey has been unique. And I want to share it with you as you work through your own STEM journey. So in particular, I thought you'd feel best starting here with a discussion of methods. How in the world are we going to talk about this? The name of the topic is Design Your STEM Future. Well, if you're going to design something, you need a plan. You need a blueprint, you need a pattern, your plan to follow what you plan to do. So in particular, I knew, since I was talking to a room of STEM people, you would feel better with the flowchart. That's just the way it is. I appreciate it. Right? Somebody has already figured this out. I am not magically the first person to enter this field. And then I knew as soon as I said scientific method, the engineers were going to flip the tables and say, I'm out. I didn't come for that. So there you go, engineers. There's also the engineering method. Okay, we're good. That's a little bit. There you go, that was that, but here's my method, right? We'll try it a little bit differently. We'll use some terms that should hopefully feel a little closer to home. In particular, here's what we're going to be talking about today in designing your STEM future. I want you to know what you're trying to figure out. From there, we're going to ask someone who knows. Brainstorm, ideate, choose to do, and then do. Critique, and then realize that a lot of the stuff you ran was a hot mess, throw it out, go back to your ideate list, and go from there. Did everyone write that down? That was the fastest workshop you've ever been through. This is the gig, that's how it runs. Any questions? All right, I would assume not. Let's see what else we got. Here's the reality. This is how it is going to happen. You are going to have an awesome idea and know you've got a problem. You're going to break at least 2 toes, fail something, lose a job, be dead broke, Cry to dad. It's gonna get so bad, you're gonna cry to dad, men. And then you're gonna wake up one day with a degree. You'll be like, yeah, that was easy, that wasn't so bad, I'll do it again. But in reality, there's gonna be a set of things that are gonna happen in that mix that are going to help you. This is what we've done as a university, the University of New Mexico. We've done a set of things to help you. You have heard this ad nauseum at new student orientation, at your advising sessions, this morning, at lunch. Your mom told you on the drive over here, pay attention, ask questions. Mom, I know I'm gonna ask questions. He should ask another question. That's how it goes with me and my kids, so I'm just projecting. But it doesn't happen like that in your house, I'm sure. You know to talk to your professors and advisors. They've been prepared to welcome you. You know that career services is here because, I'll make sure there's no other majors. Y'all have entered a field that comes with gainful employment. So, you know people will be calling you. You're gonna think you're so baller that you just walk in the room and say, engineer, what do you have for me? I was coming up in that age when the first .com rise, when they were handing out Mercedes to come and interview. Handing them out. I don't think y'all understand what I mean by handing them out. Here are the keys. Please come interview. You go home with your Mercedes to interview. So, I'm just saying, y'all might have entered a field where that is possible. There's STEM.unm.edu. Tim Schroeder and his team have an unbelievable amount of resources prepared for you at this university every single day of this academic year and your next 4 or 5, 5.5, that's all I'll give you, years here as an undergrad student at UNM. We are an HSI. What does that mean? UNM is an HSI. What does that mean? Hispanic, that's good, we're almost there. Hey, y'all, he did more than the rest of y'all. Go ahead. Well, let's brainstorm. What does the I possibly mean? Nice, nice. Hispanic institution, what could an S be? Hispanic serving institution, absolutely. This is a group thing, right? That's how we solve things. This is a Hispanic serving institution. Now that you know what the initials are, what does it mean? By federal definition, it means that we have a higher percentage than most other universities of Hispanic students enrolled at this university. Dean Krause, what is our percentage? About 40 to 45%?
That could be close.
40 to 45% of the enrolled students at this university identify as Hispanic. Well, that's all snap. Now, what does that mean? It means that as an institution, we have done in particular work to ensure that the students enrolled here, Hispanic, Anglo, Asian, Black, Indian, have a space and are respected and belong. This is the picture of universities in the United States in the next 25 to 30 years, if even that long. This is what the nation will look like. I just put Hispanic serving, but we're also a Carnegie designated institution. What does that mean? I like that, right? That means that it does come with money. Every now and then we'll get a check. Has not trickled its way to my case. But there are checks out there. But what it also means is that we are identified as a very high research Carnegie institution. It means the number and types of PhDs that are given from this institution, the type of research that's happening here, does not happen anywhere else in the country. Can I say that, Dean Cross? Is that fair to say?
You can say whatever you want, Sonia.
Yes, sir. I was going to. There you go.
I know you are.
What it means is that as a Hispanic serving institution that is very high research, there are people here that are not at institutions at other places, and there's work being done here that's not happening anywhere else, and you are part of that family. Boy, there's a lot in those little 3 letters. CAPS. What is CAPS? So, what is CAPS? Tutoring, classroom support, People who are here to ensure, in particular, that you are successful in every single class you take. That is a subset of the things that we have built in this university that will go into the mix when you break a toe and get dead broke and cry to your dad. That's a subset. So let's go through Professor Rankin's design process. What are we going to start with? You can just read the slide. Every now and then there's an easy one. We're going to ask someone we know, right? I mean, if I can ask, how many of you have family members that have a STEM-H background? When I say STEM-H, and Tim, have you guys kind of identified this over the day?
Kate talked about it a little bit earlier.
Science, technology, engineering, math, economics, psychology. It's kind of the big ones.
Health science.
Health sciences, thank you. Who here as a student, or even as a parent, has a family, close family member that comes from the STEM-H background? I do. We'll talk about that a little. So in case you don't, or in case you didn't, I did a little bit of research for you guys. I contacted 50 of my STEM-H friends. Yes, it was a Facebook message and they all responded. But for real, I did contact them. It was just like, almost like I would have called them, but I haven't called them in about 5 or 6 years, so it would have been awkward. But a Facebook post is perfectly reasonable, and they all responded. These are the people I contacted. Nurses, civil engineers, professors. These are professors that I had in high school who taught calculus. These are professors I had in undergrad who are my statistics, linear algebra, differential equations instructors, algorithms, database. I contacted those kind of professors. I contacted friends I grew up with who were fools but are now professors in physics and chemistry and astronomy at universities and at high schools all over our country. IT professionals, oncologists, pediatricians, and data scientists, cybersecurity experts, STEM trained who are working in the industry differently, either in management or HR or recruitment, chemists, entrepreneurs, domestic engineers, industrial engineers, graphic artists, and tech trainers. I've done all the work for you. You guys don't have to do nothing, so you can trust everything I say. Here we go. Here's what I asked them, these 3 questions. What made you love your field? What made you successful your first year in college? What do you wish you would have known, done to do better? That's about as plain as it gets, right? They're going to have 1,000 nuances within there, but I wanted to give you the best data that my small world of STEM knows. So I ask you this question. What was your favorite toy when you were growing up? Legos. Were you a kit man or were you non-kit? You were a kid, that's fine. Anything else? What else?
Game Boy Advance.
Ooh, not the Game Boy. I was hoping someone said Game Boy. I'm like, nah, they wouldn't know what a Game Boy is. They wouldn't know being in a car and waiting to go by a street light so you can actually play. You know? Good, just checking on it. All right. He's got a future. You got to know the old tech. Anybody else?
Stick.
Stick. My husband joked me. He said, not one person's going to say a stick and a wheel. And I said, you never know. It's a weird America. You never know. But you like the stick. And what else? The rest of y'all were just sitting there writing calculus equations. Come on, man. Give me a break. Tell the truth.
Barbies.
Thank you. Thank you. This is how I know she has a future. The rest of y'all can go. You can talk about Barbies all day. Barbies are deep. What else? What else? GameCube. Parents, did y'all also just sit there pondering in the olden days of no tech, just watching the sun shine and say, that was fun, Mom. Let's do it tomorrow. What else?
Riding my
I
bike.
had a very sad childhood. I'm a bit concerned for the state of America. Barbie had a future with a raccoon. Who else? Give me something else. Legos, GameCube, Game Boy Advanced, Barbies. What else?
Board games.
Board games. Hasbro's been making a good amount of money, surely. Someone here. What were your games? What was your game?
Monopoly And
Candyland.
checkers.
Chinese checkers. Candyland, a fundamental game when we rooted out people with color blindness. We just give them that shame early on. And what else?
The game of life.
Game of life. Oh, this is my favorite. I love that. I love life. What else? Hungry hippos. He's right. He is right. Have you done the human hungry hippos? Oh, life changes after that. Different. What else?
Nerf basketball.
Excellent. Nerf basketball.
Pretend cooking.
Pretend cooking. How many of you were Rubik's Cubers? Thank you. What was your time? Best time?
7 days.
See, I come from that era when you could peel off the stickers and come back with sticky fingers and say, look, Mom, I solved it. And you had a long lesson online. But I'm from a different, all right? Anybody here, paper and pencil? You could draw, design all day long.
Tic-tac-toe.
Tic-tac-toe. Any Yahtzee people? Oh, Yahtzee. That's how I knew that. That's the other future, right? Barbies and Yahtzee. That was my childhood. That was it. We loved Yahtzee. We loved, I don't know, we weren't gambling, folks. Roll that dice just changes the household. Everyone's different. Well, I want to show you something. I talked with a friend of mine who gave this story about what made him love his field, and it was his toys. When I was younger, I loved to go to my grandparents' house and always stay with them for about a month. I built concrete roads and made some bridges for my little cars. Plus how my Lego homes, there you go. Then my grandpa would irrigate around 4 a.m. so I would get up and play with the river running. This is what made me like building things. I say all of that to let you know that what you loved doing is going to stick with you. It's going to set the foundation. Paper and pencil, puzzle games, Rubik's Cube, solving things, patterns, games of chance, games of color matching, whatever it was. There's a reason that it's the one you kept going back to. That stick, and whatever you did with that stick. Hopefully not bees nest or anything. But think about that Nerf basketball and the physics lessons you were learning that you didn't even know. Think about the art of design you were creating and following the Lego kits. Or beating the next level in your Game Boy Advance or the GameCube. Not any Nintendo DS people? Any, how old school can I go, parents? Atari? Thank you. One hand, you guys can just tell the truth. I'm going, any Commodore people? Woo! I'm going, Apple II? Woo! Thank you. Just checking. There's this game, there's this adventure game on the Apple II. We would always die in the river. We could never get out of that stupid lake. We couldn't solve it never before that. It was awesome. All of those skills you were building is why you're now in this STEM space. And what I wanted to show you was what some people said. Number one, I'll be careful with this. The problem-solving lab work. My wife calls it my playtime. He still plays in physics. I think one of the reasons my first year was successful is I was focused. I entered thankful for the blessing, determined not to waste it. Her goal was to be impactful and to do something with what she was given. My next friend said I had an uncle who was an engineer and had a huge house in Rolls Royce. From that point, I equated the field with success. There's nothing wrong with that. I told y'all, they're not going to give you Mercedes. It's a different era. This one really struck me. I struggled with English when I came to the United States. The math felt easy and I had great success. I kept up with it and grew to love it. That's what we tend to love about this space, right? That it can remove some of the other barriers and other fields so that people can find a way to connect. So here comes our 10 ideas. There are a lot of papers. Here come the 10 ideas to implement your STEM design. I say this to tell you the absolute truth, and this is number one because it matters. Well, number one, it is okay if you need to fill some educational gaps. It is okay if you need to fill some educational gaps. What do I mean when I say that?
So you never took chemistry or something like that?
Your school may not have offered chemistry. Good. What else?
You don't need to know everything, so.
Absolutely. If you did that, this college thing would go really, really quickly. You don't have to know everything from day one. What else?
Not being able to come in and go straight to calculus?
That is actually true, right? You may not be as prepared as you thought in some of the basic fields, and you may need to start and maybe even backtrack a little to make sure you have the fundamentals. And I'm talking about why we need these fundamentals. This first person talks about the shock. And I will let you know, for some of you, it will be a shock that because you were top of your class, you were the best, everyone said, oh, here she comes. She's gonna solve that math problem, and you do it, and when she did it, you're gonna get to the first day of class and be like, oh, shoot. What formula, what page? What do you mean we're gonna start on page 55? What was in the other stuff? You may have gone to a school that didn't even go past Algebra 2. There's a lot of schools like that here in New Mexico and across the country. There are some schools where students are taking senior math or college preparatory math, which does not get you prepared for Calculus 1. It's just shy of how the numbers make you feel. That number 7 is really magical. Mom, no disrespect, I got feeling to teach that. But for real, if you plan to go into STEM, you need to know something a little different. The second one was from a friend I went to undergrad with. I wasn't like the rest of you guys. I didn't have great grades in high school, and I really struggled our first few years in college. But the professors really believed in me and kicked my butt. And I didn't say they hooked him up. He said they actually held him accountable, but they didn't leave him behind. And this last one was from an older person I talked to. In my small town, my uncles were butchers and mechanics. His biggest goal was to think he could repair TVs or maybe be an electrician. That was a big deal in his town. So the fact that he would become Pi Mu Epsilon, which is part of the Math Honor Society, he'd study computer science, he would manage multi-million-dollar international tech projects, is so much wider than he ever saw the world, when the most that people around him did was work in that town. So it's okay if you need to fill educational gaps. There's another gap I need you to be prepared to fill. And it's going to be the cultural gap. What do I mean by that? Well, my first day studying computer science, 1994, Morgan State University, Baltimore, Maryland, Dr. William Lupton, who wore a lab coat. I don't know why we're studying computers, but he wore a lab coat. And he wrote 3 letters on the board. LOL. 1994. He wrote LOL on the board. Then he proceeded to write a lot of other 3-letter, 4-letter combos, waiting to see recognition in the room of probably about 40 students taking Introduction to Computer Science. Why did he do that? Because at our inner city university, he wanted us to know the culture. This is a newsletter from 1989 with the first written instance of LOL, laughing out loud. The first instance of smiling. They didn't even have the eyes back then, just close parentheses. A wink. I mean, he wanted to make sure that when we started our internships, that when we got out in the field, we didn't get to the room and felt uncomfortable because we didn't know the jokes. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple of computer science jokes just in case you're here. This is hilarious. This is hilarious in the computer science world. They will fall out. XKCD author, I met him, Randall, a couple of months ago, got my picture taken with him, got him to autograph 2 books for my husband. I'm like, oh my goodness, my husband's got a t-shirt with your jokes on it. He's got like 4 XKCDs on the wall. We love you. And he was like, this is awkward. But besides that, he makes these awesome comics. And here's when we really know you're die-hard. And just so you know that, you can see that joke. The #1 programmer excuse for legitimately slacking off, my code's compiling. And when you take your first coding class, you also will fall out laughing. Just give me a heads up. It's a Christmas tree with a heap of presents underneath. It is hilarious. I'm waiting for recognition. It's not coming, so I'm just gonna move along. But when you get in your world, there will be jokes in your space that people will fall out to. And I remember once I knew the lingo and the culture and the community, I remember going to a conference and someone made a joke about us all being in a queue. And we all straight nerded out and fell out because of the word queue. Not just a queue, like a queue, like a line. You know, first in, first out. I mean, these nested trees, these things are, you have to know the culture. You've got to know if you're entering a field, wear polos and button-down shirts, are the standard, or you can get by in a Cool Beans t-shirt. Even a hoodie. Where you're never gonna wear high heels again because you've got to be out in a swamp somewhere pulling out a microbe. You're gonna have to know the culture for where you're headed. Number 2. This one's second because it's the first important. Y'all play with that too. But you have to know the math. Every person who responded talked about, regardless of their STEM space that they went to, was the math. Knowing the math. Not rushing through the math. I'm sick of this phrase of how a student should get through the math. It's math that's holding them up. It's the math curriculum is why they can't quickly go and build my bridge. If you're shaky on Pythagorean theorem, you go back. Why am I concerned if you're going to be building my bridges and you're shaky on Pythagorean theorem?
Critical for calculating your structural loads.
Yes, it matters. It means something. C's do not get degrees. If you're shaky on algebra, I don't care where you're headed. I don't care what the curriculum says. I don't care what even the exams you need for entrance exams for med school or for grad school. If you are shaky on these things, you will not be strong with where you need to go in STEM. You have to enjoy doing your math, physics, and chemistry homework, and you'll be okay. These are not topics to get through. You're going to need it in your STEM discipline. I wish I spent more effort learning the why behind the technical work I did. I hated doing proofs, but now I see the value in understanding the underlying reasons of how science and math work. Tie your classes together. Physics 2 is the application of Calculus 3. It's not just this random set of things that they're giving you. You are going to have to make the connections between these courses. Third point, I want you, this is a really big one. Be prepared to work hard and smart. I remember one of the first lies I heard about STEM. This gentleman was brainwashing us into STEM in high school, and he said, the best thing about being in STEM is that I could just solve a couple of math problems and I don't have to go to the club. And all these high school kids were like, that sounds like the field for me. That was his brainwash, and by then it's too late for you to realize that it's just not a few equations. Those few equations lead to the application leads to lab time, the lab time leads to your life. We would enter the lab, the seasons would change, it would go from day to night, we'd have no clue, we'd be a coder's high, if anybody knows about that. There is this mental place you get to when you're determined for your code to compile and for using VIE alpha. Anyway, it's this deep place that you're going to get to. You're going to work very hard. But you must be smart about it. Number one point to think about is don't cheat ever. Ever. Yes, the person needs their graphic calculator. I know that wasn't y'all because you're good, decent logos. But the person next to you learned that there's all these great big blank screens that you can fill in with the whole chapter. At some point, you ask yourself, well, why didn't you just freaking study? If you had all that typing time, but that's a different day. Don't cheat ever. Integrity matters. You can't cheat on getting to the answer because the reason you know that answer is because you'll need it in a semester later or in a year later. Ask your teachers for help, and this person said that he had very little sleep during the week. You heard us say in orientation, 2 to 3 hours per week per credit. At least 30 to 45 hours a week is spent on your curriculum. This person was a commuter. Use public transportation. That is not a time to get caught up on Netflix on your phone. That is study time. That is prep time. This person wishes they had studied prior research like his life depended on it. Know who did everything. I know that everything's in your phone and you can search it in a heartbeat. But there's some crap in this field. You just have to know that you know that you know. And call it up. Histories and dates of wars will actually be applicable in your STEM field. There are some things you have to know. But this last one came from someone who made a mistake of taking an easy professor on purpose. The teacher was good at giving easy A's. Everybody knew. Everybody knew you go through this professor, you get an A, you move on. It screwed him up down the line. It's just not enough to get an A. You have to know the curriculum. Number 4, work to connect to your faculty. You are sick of hearing it. Do not do it because you're sick of hearing it. And I'm going to say something that is completely mean to say, but I felt like it would be wrong to get here and not make sure you heard it for real. Some of your instructors will come from different cultural backgrounds than you. They will have accents. You will feel that you are not able to understand them. Get over it. Make yourself understand your professors. You also have an accent. Every now and then I'll tell my kids about coffee, and they're like, coffee, Mom, you haven't been in Jersey in 18 years. I'm like, I know, but I just gotta say it so I don't lose my touch. I was hanging out with my brother-in-law, and they kept talking about water. I'm like, water, just water. But everybody, I was down in Georgia, and they were saying on the radio to find me on Facebook. I was like, what's a Facebook? Facebook, good Lord, there's like 10 letters missing. Say the words. But in reality, you need to make sure you can understand your professor. This university has not selected people who are here to be in your way or to slow you down. You have to learn to be prepared to navigate an international space, a big world. Understand your classmates. Work to be understood. Make sure that you can communicate. Make sure that you're able to connect. These instructors love what they do. Ask them why. Why or how do you love Calculus 3? Oh my goodness, wait till you see what it can do. And they'd be happy to show you. They'd love to show you. They don't get to talk about that in the classroom. There's not enough time. Go to the office hours. Hang out where they hang out. Not in a creepy way, but just be in those spaces. This is a big one. Join a Logo STEM pack. You can see everybody had something to say about the crew they found when they started at UNM to help them get through. We knew we had to get through our classes. These people will hold you accountable. They will make sure you go. They'll make sure you're caught up. The 6 of us were in this core group of commuters. How many of you are going to be commuting to campus? Find other commuters. This is where you live. If my parents, if they are watching Dancing with the Stars with you, kick them out. This is where they're supposed to be. You're in STEM. There's nothing home for you. Those days are behind you. There might be a piece of chicken. That's it. Get out of there. The friends you make will last you for life. This person wishes they had gotten rid of their trifling faculty advisor and found someone else. They wish they had paid attention and connected to the older females in their field because they felt very alone. Don't stay alone. Now, here's the truth. What if you are anti-groups? Anybody here is like, I hear this study group, I'm going to lose my mind if I have to go to someone and say, hi, do you want to study physics? Don't raise your hand because then they won't talk to you. But if that's you, I got a quote on that too. I hated groups. I thought they went too slow. But I joined one to hook up with a girl at work. I will leave it at that. I'm just saying, groups are not just for study, but they should be. All right, we'll come back to that. Every tech skill you build is a benefit. How many people looking to study biology and spaces in that field? You need to know Excel. You need to know all the parts of Excel, not just how to make the tables bigger. Come on now. There's this thing called pivot tables. You got to know that. There's these filters. There are these ways to sort data. There are these things to do. The instructors expect you in your first biology course to already know that. They expect you to already have that. You need that tech skill. You should know and understand how the technology you use works fundamentally. There's a course here called CS for All, Computer Science for All, and it is designed to help people in STEM and all kinds of disciplines see where this whole thing connects. I hired someone once who was like, oh, I love technology, man. I like all the latest phones, the latest, greatest things. Put Windows 8 on that machine. She made a bad choice, so she didn't know. She's like, I want Windows 8 on there. I'm like, go for it. I'm gonna leave that mess behind. But then I asked her to make a macro or something in Word, and she's like, ooh, do what? I said, I need a fork. Ooh, do what? I've never heard of that. You're in STEM. You need to know it. You need to know all of it. You are likely not going to be a good coder. You're not supposed to be good at it. It's a whole discipline. It's a real thing. It's not like painting a house. Not everyone can do it. There's an art to coding. But you should be able to manipulate it on some good level. Go to talks. Go to all the talks. Go to Discover Your Science. You guys already did, right? So I'm preaching to the choir. Tell a friend to go with you to the talks. And here's why. This person loved math and music, and math made a lot more sense when she was connecting it in with the music that she loved. She would go to a lot of musical kind of things. I now see the value of being exposed to various science disciplines instead of just focusing on chemistry like I did. I didn't realize how important the connections are. I wish I'd gone to more department seminars, lectures, volunteering in a research lab. Listen, every department you enter is going to host colloquiums. Colloquiums, C-O-L-L-O-Q-U-I-U-M.
You won the spelling bee.
Woo! No, it's not a dig, that's a, okay. Colloquiums are when the professors in your department get up and talk about their research. They are open. There's 3 people. You be person 4. Be there. They're explaining why the things they're teaching you in class connect to the discipline you are studying. Next thing, go to colloquiums in the department next to yours. Go to colloquiums in history. Go to colloquiums in Africana studies. Go to colloquiums in all of the various fields on campus. Why is that? Because they're going to bring in a security expert who's going to be asking and thinking about ways that they're trying to figure out to make the TSA lines go faster, and they need the sensors that are being created at your university to create algorithms that don't use bias. They're thinking, how in the world do we fix the body, but we need your insight into how we can use the technology to do that. We found this new microbe in people's noses, what can it do? And that's where we need you to pull that kind of information together. Try a little bit of everything. This is why you are getting a liberal arts degree. It is not a dirty word. It is not an evil thing. You need to ensure that you are able to connect what you're studying in your history class to what you're going to be covering in your physics space. There actually is a connection. There actually is something that attaches. And for that reason, these are a few things that people say. After my freshman year, not first year, after my freshman year, I became involved in a couple of non-academic campus organizations. I wish I'd broadened my view of my career. Because first I wish I'd take that job at Goldman Sachs. There's always going to be one thing like, oh, that was the job I should have said yes to. But you'll be surprised at what a diverse base will get you. Here's why. Let me show you this. Let me tell you my journey through STEM. From high school math league to computer science to law school to teaching about technology. Here I am, Franklin Township, Somerset, New Jersey, part of Math League. We were an awesome, super cool crew. There I am. I would take that with me to study my computer science degree. I would take that with me to law school. I would graduate from law school. I wanted to make sure that I was prepared to be able to have a patent, to be able to sit for the patent bar. I would take that then in order to teach issues about race in the digital age and technology, and the way that that tech can be used in the Black community to change entrepreneurship. And how do we do that in a digital space when jobs can be anywhere, but communities are still rather segregated? I do that because I studied computer science and I wanted a base. But let me tell you, Sonia Gipson Lee's journey through STEM. Also part of the same Math League. Also went to study computer science. But then she took her STEM background and became a software developer. She took that to graduate school, became a software developer, became in 2015, was one of the top female coders in the nation and got a prize to go to Google I/O for free. One of the top female coders, a Black female, in the nation. She took that there to doing lean startup weekends. She still enjoys making entering coding competitions. Right now, she's been contacted by 3 headhunters from HBO, Amazon, Yahoo, and Google, who said, are you willing to move anywhere? We know you're past an age demographic, but what you can do and what you have done is seen and recognized. She took a very different STEM journey, and she stayed in the bedroom right halfway from me. Shared it with my sister. You want to know what her favorite toy was as a kid? Paper and pencil. Paper and pencil. So you can take it anywhere that you want to go. Number 9, this is going to be pretty critical. Be prepared to start and restart and rinse and repeat. You are going to make so many missteps, and that is okay. You're going to ask someone to join your study group, and they're going to say, I hate groups. You're going to try to join a study group, and it won't be the right group for you. Get up the next day and do it again. And again. Every new class, every new semester is a new start. I do not judge my students by the grades they got in the class before me, by the semester they had before me. When they enter my room, it is a new day and they're a new person. They get a chance to restart. This is a quote I wanted to give you. Once I got to college and had internships, I realized I could do the work, but it wasn't what I really wanted to do. I thugged it out. This was in her direct message. I thugged it out and worked in the field for a few years. It was through my last internship that I got a spark to go a different way. And she took that different way into her PhD and her doctorate to be able to teach this kind of work. I told you to think about all kinds of things because you're going to be entering all kinds of new places. This is the truth. I couldn't leave you without saying this. You are going to make some of the best friends that you will have for the rest of your life. They will be bridesmaids in your wedding. You will start businesses with them. You're going to be an entrepreneur. You're going to invent something. You're going to create something with the people in this room. You're going to have a mixer this afternoon. You need to walk out of here with 2 new names of somebody, at least, in your discipline and not. And you need to just raise your hand. Who has math Tuesdays, Thursdays at 9 a.m.? See? Y'all think I'm joking. You think I'm joking. Hey, wonderful. Same math or different math. We got to get this figured out. These people are going to make such a difference. We're so excited to have you. We are so glad you're joining the Lobo family. It sounds cliche. It sounds like they're obvious things. It sounds like it's things you already planned on. Do them. I'm telling you, it will be awesome. It'll be great. Welcome to the Lobo family.